Welcome to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright. This show is all about honoring you as a spiritual being, having a human experience. You are here for a reason, and it's no mistake that you are here on Earth right now. Spirit has guided you to this very moment in time, so you could hear the messages Pam is about to share with you. She is a multi-dimensional healer, light language channel, transformation coach, wife and mother, committed to helping you discover the tools and practices to empower you to live the best life you can. You get to choose the spirit path you take. You can connect to the spiritual guidance already all around you. Get ready to live a fully empowered life. This is the Empower Me Show.
Welcome to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright. I am Pam Bright. I am your hostess for this program. I'm so glad you're all here. Many of you tune in every week to hear me, which I am so grateful for. And some of you, it's your first time for joining this program. So thank you so much for trusting me with your life. Not just me, but really all of your guidance is with you here right now, as well as my dear new friend, Tom Paladino, who is here to teach us about scalar energy, which is probably a new form for many of you that you've never heard of. I know that I'm new to it, which I'm looking forward to hearing more about it and seeing what it has to teach me in this hour. Before we get going any further, I like to start every session with a grounding exercise so that we can bring all of who we are to this moment in time, because a lot of us are busy in our lives, and we tend to get kind of parts of ourselves scattered out into the universe. And so this is an opportunity to bring all of you back in so that all of you can be inside of your physical body, as well as being able to transmit outside of your body as well. But we bring all of your parts back at this moment. So if you can be in a position to close your eyes, that's optimal. If you need to stay alert and you're driving or you're working or you're doing something that requires your attention, then by all means do that. Stay safe and know that you'll get exactly what you need in this moment. So I personally am going to close my eyes, because that helps me to move inward. And I've got my trusty little crystal here to hold, which also helps me to focus on my inner world. So I invite you to bring something into your hand to help you ground yourself and stay focused. Using our breath, each of us, we use our breath to feel our inner core that is connected to the divine spark within us and the divine spark within all things. Some of us call that God. Some of us call that the creator of all that is. Some of us call that divine intelligence or essence. This is our opportunity to connect with that now. And so as you breathe, just focus in on whatever part of your body needs your attention right now. I like to put my hands on my heart and my solar plexus to remind me of who I am. And I'm going to use some bright language to bring in the energies of the universe into this now, that your soul remembers at some level. Ela ta serebende zudarabeteki babashene maya kanayiche. Sandayesa na mamaneke ina mama ikina mamaya e. Uleche na masanaike upapa enesa naike papana ie. Ana seke inama ikena nia. Uyesa nekichiti o papa. Earth Mother's energy is now coming into our bodies. Thank you for your support. And we ask the sun and the moon and the stars to also assist us with remembering who we are as the divine Neshtarase nusunumayateke bainde sutapapa ne sutapapa ne si. Esa tayete anchana makia. Nakicheche nasana mayete ramamayaka. Ute sana makiasa. Ne sa sa sa. And with that last breath, simply move your body a little bit so that you are coming back to consciousness. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you all for being here, wherever you're tuning in from. And Tom, thank you so much for being here with me on this broadcast. I'm so glad you're here. So, Tom, I found out from a friend of mine from Transformation Radio, Talk Radio, that he is a scalar energy. I call you a practitioner or a facilitator, but I don't know if that's the proper term. Tom, what would you call yourself when you introduce yourself with that connection to scalar energy?
Let's say researcher.
Researcher, okay.
Because the energy in itself is healing. I'm not the healer. I am researching the healing energy.
Beautiful. I love that. Okay. So he is a research technician. There we go.
There you go.
And as I can see in the background, you've got a lot of different things that you are using for your research tools. And this program is all about bringing the tools, tips, and techniques for folks on their spiritual journey. So the thing I'm curious about the most with this scalar energy, because it is new to me, is how is scalar energy different from other forms of energy, if you, for lack of a better term, work in the world? I've heard of Reiki. I've used Reiki myself. I use sound healing, which is another energy.
You're absolutely right.
So what is it exactly that you would say is different from any other form of energy?
You're right. I work with scalar energy, which is not electricity. There's two energies, scalar energy and electromagnetic energy. I'm going to use different terms for scalar energy, scalar light. Synonymous terms are chi, prana, consciousness, Christ consciousness, 0 point energy, the matrix, pyramid energy. All of those describe this other dimension, scalar light, scalar energy. Scalar light originates from the sun and the stars, not from Earth. Scalar light is from the sun and the stars. The power plants, so to speak, are the sun and the stars. We're tapping into the life force of the universe, the sun and the stars. That's what distinguishes my work to that of electrical engineering. I do not work with electricity. I work with life force energy, scalar light, the sun and the stars.
Interesting. Okay. So one of the things that I read about on your site, and I did a little research with that, is that you work with people's actual pictures, photographs, and you use instruments. So how in the world are you able to access that scalar energy from a piece of technology?
Yes, thank you. Behind me are scalar light instruments. I'll just describe them and demonstrate them in a minute. You're right. When I work with people, it's not biological. This is the new branch of physics, which is informational. I'm working at the quantum level, at the level of information. I never work with people at a biological level. To demonstrate, this is my photograph. Any photograph has light attached to it, scalar light. That photograph is me, and vice versa. I am on that photograph. What is a photograph? It's my bilocated version. So instead of working with people in the flesh, I work with their substitute, which is their photograph. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. Now, this is not really an arcane concept. Many times people will say, I'm praying for you. When we pray for somebody, we're sending out this scalar energy, this 0 point energy, and we're praying for them at a distance. You don't have to be present. So you can either pray for somebody mentally, or what I do is I pray for somebody through their photograph.
Okay. All right. So you're what I hear is that you're actually going to the essence of
Yes,
the physicality. So the
yes,
physicality is the holder of the essence within.
yes. I only treat people from the, if you will, the point of essence, which is their information field. I never work at a lower level, at the physical level. Absolutely right. So this introduces the new science, non-physical energy, scalar energy, that's identified on a person's photograph. I can identify anybody by their photograph. So this introduces a non-physical science.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So how does the instrument or the instruments that you use, how does that work with
Yep.
this scalar
Yep.
energy?
So I take a person's photograph and I place it inside the instrument. Now, my photograph or anybody's photograph, once their photograph is inside the instrument, they're enjoying a scalar energy force field. It's very strong. This instrument is on. It's so strong, I can feel it. You can't see it, obviously, it's invisible. I'm going to demonstrate. If I hold up a light bulb, the instrument is so strong, it will illuminate the light
Huh.
bulb.
Interesting.
That is a scalar energy force field. And my photograph is experiencing that type of light. Here's another experiment, a fluorescent tube. So scalar energy will illuminate anything within its vicinity.
Hmm.
It's that strong. So that amount of light is going into my force field, not my biological field. I never work with people at the biological. Why? Because scalar energy is the non-physical science. It's the science of prayer, intuition. It's the science of information. It's the science of chi, prana. So it's a new way of looking at human health, quantum health at the informational level, because the photograph has my information embedded upon it.
Interesting. Interesting. So what I also read in your work is that you believe that pathogens can be accessed on that quantum level. So how does that work?
So I can instruct this energy. This energy will take an instruction. It carries information. I'm going to hold up a photograph of a fungus. This is Candida albicans. Many people have this infection. If I take a photograph of Candida albicans and match it up with my photograph, the two photographs communicate. That's right. The energy signal of Candida albicans, if it's found in my force field, this instrument will find Candida albicans and negate it, remove it, efface it, disassemble it, cure it, remove it, call it what you will. So we're not working with people, we're working with energy fields. And the energy field that I access is the person's energy field through the photograph. Now, to give you an analogy, we're having this conversation through our computers. Okay? Those of you who are on this by way of by video, I can see Pam, Pam can see me. We're having an interchange, if you will. Obviously, Pam is not in my computer. I see Pam's image. But likewise, when people email me their photograph, I work with their image. I don't work with them in person. So this is the new quantum science in which we don't work with people. I've never worked with a human being in my life. I only work with energy fields on photographs. The instruments are only designed to work with photographs.
Interesting.
I've discovered a new science. This is a new and emerging branch of physics.
Interesting. Okay, so you found that. Now, I had heard of scalar energy before. I don't know that I'd ever met anyone specifically that had, called themselves a researcher. Would you say that you are the first one to have
No.
found this, or are you just one of the many researchers that use this technology?
Yeah, I'm one of the few, and I'll tell you why. Nikola Tesla was the first man to develop and harness scalar energy through an instrument. And that's why I call myself a researcher. I have, with the help of others, developed an instrument, a functioning instrument. That's how I perform my research with an instrument. This is not psychic. This instrument, I'll show the audience the instrument, is a scientifically calibrated instrument. There's a lot of, if you will, science and a lot of geometry that goes behind this instrument. So with that in mind, I practice the art of scalar science. And in so doing, I follow the laws of scalar science. Hence, my work is flawless because I work with the laws of science. There's no human reasoning involved.
Interesting. Okay, so let's go into that. So what are the laws of science that you use?
Yeah. Some of the laws of science are this: scalar energy is everywhere. It's an infinite energy. It's the matrix. It's the blanket of the universe. And on account of that fact, people do not have to travel to me. I can simply access their aura or their force field, which is everywhere. Okay? In other words, I can be in two places at once. Or people send me 2 photographs. I have other instruments, and they can be in 3 places at once, at home and at 2 different locations in my laboratory. So what's the point? We transcend time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Okay.
you can't do that with the thank you. You cannot do that with the electromagnetic environment. Today, if you wanted to go to work or go to the office, you would have to have some types of transportation to take from point A to point B. In a scalar energy realm, you simply think and you're there.
Okay.
You can transport yourself instantaneously. Well, this instrument can transport thoughts or information instantaneously. Now I'm going to revisit that comment. This instrument, there's no point A and point B. There's only one point. And in a scalar energy environment, everything is handled, everything is conducted in an instantaneous fashion.
Okay. So how can the use of the, well, first of all, let's back up. How do you see that the use of this instrument and the use of this research could change the way that we work with health and the health industry?
Okay, good point. So I'm going to go back to my example. I can take one photograph of a microbe or germ, or I can take photographs of thousands of microbes. And this instrument will eradicate thousands of microbes. Here's a series of viruses that if I were going to communicate with my photographs in one setting, I could identify 20 different pathogens and negate them. Now, in 1 hour, I've streamlined this. In 1 hour, I could cycle through this instrument 400,000 species of pathogens or toxins, and I could eliminate potentially 400,000 species of toxins and or pathogens, microbes. So what I've demonstrated with one microbe, I can facilitate in an hour with 400,000 microbes.
Wow. Wow. Okay. We have a question from somebody who just wrote in. Anne from I've forgotten even where she's from. Panama. She
Yes.
says, is this the same energy as the electronic devices and programs for Healy devices?
No, it's a different company. No, my work is unique. These instruments are unique. By all means, you've probably never heard of me before because I'm only one person. This is my one laboratory that I demonstrate to the general public. So I'm not a publicly recognized company.
Okay, all right. And I am not familiar with the Healy devices, but I do what I'm getting from Anne's question, and also what the question that I've had is, so how is this would be a good question. How is your research and your work with this scalar energy different from other people who use scalar energy and their whatever devices they use?
It's hard because I can't compare and contrast. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not familiar with those other devices. My device is unique. That's all I'll say. What I've accomplished with my device is this. I can work with people through their photographic force field. It's not a handheld process. It's not an in-person process. So I work with photographic force fields. That distinguishes my work. And then secondly, what also distinguishes my work is the way I've engineered this instrument and the way I apply this energy through this instrument. So to underscore the matter, my work is rather unique.
Okay. So do you have test subjects that you are working with to gather data
Yes,
to be able to let the public know?
yes, yes. Our website has at least 3,000, 4,000 testimonies. Now, I have worked with some clinics around the world, but most of them are out of the United States. And the results have been favorable. But to be very clear, Pam, nobody can make a distinction between a photographic force field and a biological person. So for me to ever prove this, there has to be some type of indication that a photographic force field connects to a person's aura.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me here. I don't work with flesh and blood. I work with the aura of a person, their energy field. How can I prove that a photograph of a person connects to their aura, not through their biological field, to their aura? Nobody can prove that. I cannot prove it. So it's anecdotal.
So here's a question for you, because what I just connected, and maybe you have this similar thought, is I've seen what they call these auric photograph devices, where people you can stand in front of the camera and then they take a picture of you with your auric field around you in different colors. Could you connect your instrument to this photographic instrument for connecting the aura?
I think so. I'd like to perform that experiment at some time. If somebody had an instrument that I could look at chakras, at aura, I would love to do that. I'd love to perform those experiments. But to be quite candid, I'd have to do it through a photograph because that's what I'm successful at.
Yeah.
This instrument is not designed to work with people. It's kind of counterintuitive. This is why I don't refer to any type of biological medicine. I don't touch biological medicine. I work with an informational field that is quite superior to that of biomedicine.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I get it. So it's fascinating information. And how long? So you've been doing this for how long did you say?
50 years. 50
Wow.
years.
Wow. So how did you get connected to Nikola Tesla? How did you find him?
I had two careers. In theory, I studied Tesla as a youngster, in theory. Later in my life, when I was actually 33 years of age, I met American inventor Sarah Hieronymus. She and her husband Galen developed scalar energy instruments. And I worked with Sarah Hieronymus. I never met the inventor. So I had practical hands-on experience through this Hieronymus family. Incredible what they achieved. Sadly, a lot of this research has never been properly promulgated. In some cases, it's suppressed.
Okay. All right. So where are you hoping to take this information that you have and this research that you've done?
Yes, that's a good point. I want to be able to work with millions, billions of people. I want to work with billions of photographic force fields. My goal is to work with 1 billion photographs a year, not with 1 billion people, with their force field. Why do I keep saying force field? Because it's so much easier and it's instantaneous communication. And if I tell a disease to negate, it will do so at the force field level. For instance, I've been working with many people recently in the past 5 months who've had cancer. I can detect the signature of cancer. Everything has an instruction, a signature, including cancer. I can detect, identify cancer as a signature and negate cancer. That's my recent improvement. So if I can identify and negate cancer, this should prove to be monumental for the world. I'm waiting for greater number of testimonies to come in, but thus far the testimonies have been quite promising.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, great. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're working with this scalar energy, which is in everything and everyone, and is basically energy of the universe, right?
Yes.
How what's your belief on, and this, this goes into the whole world of spirituality. My show is based on the spiritual journey. So how would you say this connects to the world of energy as well as the world of spirit, the work that you're doing?
It's identical. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's non-physical. This is why I keep saying it's informational, it's not biological. This is the spirit role. I work with a person's spirit or their force field. I could say photographic force field, and that's a catch-all for everybody. But more significantly, for some people who believe in the spirit world, I connect with the spirit of us, with what some people call an energy field. Others might call the soul or the spirit. You're right. Very good.
Okay, good. Awesome. So with this instrument, um, I saw that you put your picture by the instrument and the light, it got light through it, right? How do you receive information from that?
Yeah. It's my spirit. It's my force field that receives it. And I'll tell you one of the reasons I can say that very clearly. Every time I work with this instrument, we never have a biological consequence with anyone. There's never a chemical consequence. There's never a Herxheimer reaction or a pimple. People never feel nauseous. People never tell me that they have a chemical overload or an overdose or underdose. What's my point? It's not a chemical. It's information. You cannot have an adverse chemical reaction through a photograph, through a force field. We're never working at the biological level. So what's my point? Working at the level of intelligence, information, everything is assured because this is an intelligence instrument and I submit intelligence upon a photograph. So it's a fundamental life energy. It's fundamental. There's no human reasoning. So when you work with light, light follows the laws of science, and those laws are immutable. You never make a mistake. The immutable laws of science. As opposed to the biological level, where there's interpretation, human interpretation. The biological level, where you have so many enzymes and pathways to consider, so many permutations, so many risk factors with contraindication of drugs, et cetera, et cetera. I leave the physical layer goodbye. I only work at the spirit level.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and what I know about that is that I was a massage therapist for 25 years. And so and then when I was doing massage, I also started doing energy work with Reiki, and other forms kept flooding in of how to work. And what I found out was, oh, when you work at the level outside of the physical body gets to benefit, not because I'm working and working really hard with my hands, but because I'm working at the energetic level. We're working at the level of emotions and connection to God and belief systems, and getting outside of that physicality, like with the auric photographs, what gives us the light body around us. And it's so much faster. So I can really
Yes, it is.
see and comprehend how, this could actually eradicate the need for hospitals, the need for doctors, the need for really rough effects on the body with medicines. And that's a really scary thing for some people to grab. Wouldn't you say?
You're right. I've worked with some clinics, some HIV clinics in Africa and Asia. And after working with the people, they tell me they no longer have a end below, so you're not infected. So what does that mean? Well, so some of these clinics that we've worked with in India and Africa are telling us that Many of these people who are participating in this HIV clinic no longer go back to the HIV clinic. These people believe that HIV has been eradicated. They show test results that showing that there's no viral load of HIV.
Interesting. Wow. Wow. So some would say that this is a miracle cure.
Yes,
Is that
some
something
have
that
said,
is that
yes.
something that you adhere to?
If the people say that, yes. Now, I'm not trying to dodge your question. I can't speak for the people. I'll be very clear. I've never worked with a human being in my life, but many people have told me that, Tom, this worked, and many people have said, Tom, I think I've been cured. And I have to respect their opinion because that's what this is all about. Even though it's anecdotal, you know, they're entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to their decision, to their testimony. I have over 3,000 testimonies on the website. All of them are anecdotal. Not one of them can be proven by biomedicine. It's not biomedicine.
Interesting. Interesting. So, okay, so let's go back. Let's go back in time to before Tom started this research. Way back when, when you first got introduced to this whole concept of, oh, there's energy. What is this energy thing? What is that about? But I'm human. How does this, that world is out there and I'm here. How does that connection start and where did you start with it?
I was quite young, probably 11 years of age, when I started reading about Nikola Tesla. And back in the 70s, we had to read books. There was not an internet. And I knew that Tesla was onto something. Tesla frequently would mention wireless energy, wireless transmission, wireless. Well, prior to that, it had always been telephone wires with AC electricity. So Tesla advanced from AC electricity with wires to a wireless type of energy, which is radiant energy or scalar energy. Tesla called it radiant energy. And then Tesla frequently later in his career would say, I'm going to harness the sun. Tesla said, I will harness the sun and I will use it as power instrument. And he did that. And I'm doing that. This is the energy of the sun that we use.
Interesting. So would you say that anyone in the world can harness this energy?
Yes. Yes. Now hear me out. How? By prayer, meditation, by thought. What is a prayer, meditation, or thought? It's a broadcast of scalar energy, which transcends time and space instantaneously, and it's non-physical. So remember I said scalar energy pervades the universe, moves about instantaneously. Nothing can impede its motion. Well, that's a scalar energy instrument, but that also are your thoughts, your prayers, your emotions, meditation. So what's the point? The human mind is a scalar mind. We haven't quite figured that out yet.
Yeah.
What is a thought? A thought is not electricity. If a thought can transcend time and space, then what type of energy allows a thought to transcend time and space?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
It's scalar energy. Now, many times when I start working with people with this instrument, they tell me this enhances their thinking. This gives them a sense of euphoria. Some people say that their dream state enhances. Why? Because I'm accessing their mind, their consciousness, their aura. If I can light up a light bulb, then I can light up the mind. And people have a deeper dream state. What are dreams? Astral travel. What is that? Those are scalar energy waves. That's scalar energy.
Interesting. Well, I, for one, believe that we are all energy. This physicality is just what houses my energy.
Yep.
So when I can access my own energy, that's what I'm doing when I'm singing and speaking light language. It is not something that I make up. It's not just random. I feel like it's channeled directly from the stars and the sun and the moon and the energies that exist outside of myself. some people would say, oh, it sounds like gibberish. Well, to some people it does. Reiki energy, I received Reiki energy from a whole process from the Japanese people. It was passed down generation to generation to generation, and I received it as divine energy. Then
It is divine energy.
Then it gets transmitted wherever it's needed, and it heals
Yes.
all kinds of different things. So that could be considered the same thing as scalar energy. I mean, wouldn't you say it's about
Right.
what we call
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Whatever works
This
for
is
us?
yes, exactly. This is such a new science. We don't have a set of terms and conditions that we agree upon. But I will say that healing hands are scalar energy. Anytime you can heal with your hand, that's scalar energy. If you can heal through prayer or meditation, that's scalar energy. These are scalar waves. So you have to say, how does this happen? It doesn't, the animating force is not electricity. When thought or prayer or healing hands can heal, that's scalar energy. It's not electricity. Now this opens up a new, if you will, branch of physics that can explain clairvoyance, that can explain astral travel, that can explain plasma balls, that can explain the gift of prophecy, that can explain why some people have split personalities.
Talk more about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're always looking at an information system. If you have the right information, you're true to yourself. Okay? Reality is truth. Truth is reality. So if this is a truth machine, a truth or a reality machine, you're going to be what they call your authentic self. Okay. However, if you deviate from that, you try and be two persons that you're not, or three persons that you're not, that's a split personality. That is not the truth. A split personality, and if they conflict with one another, well, one of them is true, or at least one of them is partly true, and the other one is false. Okay, so what's my point? This is a unifying energy. I have one personality. There's one Tom. This instrument unifies one. There's not two Toms. It's not a split personality. There's only one Tom with one personality. It's a unifying field.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's go a little deeper into that. So, so this is something I've thought of quite a bit with the whole mental health crisis in the world, is that there's so many people that are having all of these different experiences in their mental health. And when we're talking in the world of 1, 2, 3, or 5 different personalities, wouldn't you say it's the same energy? It's just expressing itself in 5 different ways?
That could be it, but what if they start contradicting one another? Then one of them has to be false. Follow me? Some people with split personalities claim that they're two different people. No, you're one person. You know, pick one person, pick one identity, is what I'm saying.
Well, what I see this, and that's interesting. What I'm looking, I love this theorizing with you. This is really cool. So, because if we don't have to have a certain answer, right? We can theorize. So, what if this instrument that you have could take my picture, if I'm experiencing multiple personalities, and actually bring all of them together into one? If we're experiencing different personalities, couldn't we then bring them all together into one?
And to clarify it into one. For instance, let's say somebody has a split personality. One day my name is Tom, the next day my name is Bob. Who am I? Are you speaking to Tom Paladino, or are you speaking to Bob? That's the distinction. That's the contradiction. As a unifier, yes, we have to bring in so many different permutations, so many disparate belief systems, so many different life experiences. But when we unify it, it's always the truth. That's what I'm getting. Energy is truth. Keep this in mind, people. Energy follows the laws of science. The laws of science, to me, are the laws of God. If I work with an energy instrument, I'm following the laws of science, the laws of God. Hence, there's no room for human error. The energy and will identify and unify. It's not me. There's no human action with this instrument. This is what I like about my work. This is not human action. It's divine action.
Okay. So, okay. So now we are going down the rabbit hole. Okay. So how was this instrument created?
In 1993, I met the Hieronymus family, and they had miniature versions of this, but they were working, functioning instruments, and I could see how important so many principles were. Essentially, ratio and proportion are so important when you build these instruments. I've worked with a brilliant engineer since, and we've amplified the energy. So we copied Dr. Hieronymus. Dr. Hieronymus had the prototype. I copied Dr. Hieronymus, and today we have a much powerful.
Okay. All right. Okay. So if this instrument is reading, if you will, higher intelligence, energy in it, but it's made by human hands, then how does that fit into the world of science?
It fits into the world of science because this instrument is an energy instrument. And the energy instrument is that should be the study of science, the immutable laws of science, the immutable laws of energy. So even though it's made by human hands, the energy instrument only operates according to the principles of scalar energy. So that's what I want to inculcate. I want science to look at the principles of scalar energy, not my work, not the handiwork of engineers or manufacturers. Look at the energy itself. That is what we have to study.
Okay. All right. All right. So for me and my work over here, the way that I work with, like, I have a lot of different tools that I use, right? That I learned over time. And many of you who are listening have heard me say, I don't live my life simply by my hands, by my way. I purposely connect to a divine intelligence every single day so that I can be the best version of myself that I possibly can be. And what I'm getting is that this particular instrument is like, and you can tell me if you did this or not, but I would say that this instrument is totally connected to divine intelligence. You guys came like this together and said, we
Yes.
are going to be reflecting to you out there who you are on an
Yes.
energy level.
Yes.
Is that correct? Would you say
Yes.
that?
That's brilliant. This is divine intelligence. That's one of the expressions that I use on my website. I have captured divine intelligence. I firmly believe that the Ark of the Covenant was a scalar energy instrument, which is the seed of wisdom, which is the embodiment of God. I believe scalar energy is God's energy, the light of God. Yes, it's divine light. This is divine intelligence. Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, so now we have another message from Anne. Anne, thank you for being so engaging with us here. She says, I've been bringing in energies through the sun through a portal. It is from the sun. Do you identify this as scalar energy?
Of course. Yes,
Perfect.
of course. Of course. Keep in mind, remember what Nikola Tesla said. Tesla wanted to harness the sun and control it and then derive energy from that. So if Tesla wanted to do that with an instrument, why can't you do that with your mind and your psyche? You can. We do that all day long. We don't realize that the sun is a scalar energy or a celestial body. Yes, there's electromagnetic energy, but there's also scalar energy. Here's the point that I want to make. Scalar energy is infinite. So the drawback is you cannot measure it. You cannot measure infinite energy.
Right.
Scalar energy is divine intelligence. How do you measure divine intelligence?
You can't. No, you can't. It's like asking how many stars are in our solar system.
Yeah, you
I
can.
mean,
You think
I
it's
don't think we
infinite.
can.
It's infinite. There's no basic unit.
Yeah,
Let's face it. You have a meter, you have a liter, you have a mile, you have a kilometer. You cannot measure infinite.
yeah, yeah. So we have just a few minutes left, and I want to make sure that people that are interested in connecting to you can do that. So you have a website. It is tompaladino.com. Is that
Yeah.
right? Or is it scalarenergy.com?
Scalar light.
Scalar
Scalarlight.
Light. Okay.
Scalarlight.com. SCALER. Scalarlight.com.
All right. Perfect. And you have a giveaway that you have put on the website, and I also mentioned it in this advertisement. And I would say that Anne has been so great at connecting with us. Would you like to give your giveaway to Anne for connecting with us today?
Yeah. And go to the website, scalarlight.com. Anybody in the world can register for 15 days of free session.
Awesome.
The website has a standing offer, no questions asked, no obligation. 15 days of free sessions in which we'll balance your chakras, we'll eliminate microbes. Then we have a third modality in which we can take photographs of vitamins and download the energy of vitamins into your aura, into your force field through photographs.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, great. So, Anne, you got the information. Go to the website. It's a huge amount of information that he has on there. I'm so impressed. You also are on YouTube quite a bit. So, if they look up your website, it will give you all of the different YouTube videos on there.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We have. If you go to our homepage, we have at the very bottom all of our social media handles. Thank you.
Perfect. I love it. Awesome. So in the last few minutes that we have, Tom, what would you say is the most important thing for people to hear from you and your work?
Okay. We are scalar energy beings. Yes, we're electromagnetic beings, but more importantly, we're scalar energy beings. Our mind, our heart, our feelings, our thoughts, our feelings are scalar waves. This gives great benefit to mankind to realize that by controlling their thoughts, controlling their emotions, they can control a scalar wave. And when you do that, you're controlling the information of the universe. Now, this gives great adherence to the thought, think well, feel well, or think positively and see positive outcomes. Why? A thought is a scalar wave. When you put that into motion, you're going to see positive thoughts. So the takeaway from our discussion today is the human mind and the human heart are scalar energy instruments. That's the point.
I love that. I love that. That is so great. So when we say, folks, the law of attraction works, the law of attraction works. Whatever you think about, it will come back to you, right? It's the mirror principle. So when we are clear, when we want to be clear channels, like we want our channel within ourselves to be clear, that sends out a signal to the universe and says, universe, please entrain with my energy field. Bring me whatever I need for my vessel here that I'm experiencing. Because remember, what do I say? We are spiritual beings having human experiences. As humans, we get to experience all of who we are on the energetic and spiritual level. Okay. Call it energy, call it spirit, call it God. Doesn't matter what you call it. Call it scalar energy, whatever you want to call it, you're it. You've come here for a reason. Yeah. And I will continue to bring different beautiful people like Tom into this place, this show, to show you that you've got knowledge that you didn't even remember that you had. So when you tap into that, you get a brand new experience of who you are on the quantum level, which is exactly the level that we are talking about, which is allowing ourselves to go beyond our physical third dimensional experience of life.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Well stated.
Thank you very much. So, in order to find Tom, they just go to your website and contact you there. Is there
That's
an email
correct.
is there an email that they can use to contact you?
There's 3 easy steps to upload your photograph. Just email your photograph. And by the way, get your family, get their permission and send their photographs in also.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. Well,
Scalar technology will change the world. I want to leave your audience with this. This new technology is free energy. Let me repeat that. This energy is from the sun and the star. It's free. That's why Tesla was so enamored with this energy. It's free. It's non-physical. So it has no carbon footprint. And there's no biological consequences because it's information. It's divine intelligence. It cannot harm you. Free energy will change the world. Free energy will change industry. Transportation will change the energy production of the world, will change medicine, change wellness. It will change the way we look at ourselves. It opens up a new avenue of existence. This technology is about to change the world.
I get it. I'm so excited that you are doing this research now and that you're letting people know about what's available. And folks, if you want to know more, please contact Tom and take hold of his free offer to experience this firsthand. I am so grateful that you have tuned in once again. And please go to the website and get your free 15 days for what's been offered. And those of you who want to connect specifically with me, and my website is brightbutterflynetwork.com. And it has a lot of information for you there. I'm going to be here every week for you to bring you new people, new information, new ways for you to experience your own spiritual energy. So thank you, Tom, once again for coming on the show. I'm so grateful to have met you. And I look forward to being in contact more and more as we go along in our lives. So many blessings to you. Many blessings to you, audience, who have tuned in once again. Know that your life is up to you and take it on with zest. So many blessings. Love and light from the universe. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright on Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in to learn more about living a fully empowered life. Remember that your life is up to you, and you can choose the spiritual path you are on. There is spiritual energy and wisdom in everything and everyone around you. Listen carefully for what the universe is trying to tell you in every moment. You are already being guided along your journey. Call upon your spirit guides anytime you need help with anything. Know that you are safe in every moment, even if it seems that you are not. For more information about Pam Bright, visit brightbutterflyenterprises.com or email theempowermeshow@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. We hope to see you next week.